It is Brian Tan here with the Tanndemonium Sports Show here on Vendetta Sports Media Network. And with me, as always, is the Tua to my offensive line, Jackson Law. J Law, how the hell?
Doing good, man. Gotta represent Tua today. Another big great dub. It's weird. A lot of people are starting to put the Dolphins in the like their top fives, like at
Yep.
number five, number four, and it's weird, man. I've never been in this position
Yeah,
before.
it's been a long time since you could be excited for the Dolphins, man.
Yeah, Chad Pennington was the last quarterback that we could be any types of excited for because he's the last one that got us to the playoffs, which that was mostly because Tom Brady like freaking broke his tibia or whatever it was.
Yeah, see, I still remember back when Dan Marino was playing. I can remember back that far. So, yeah. But before we get too deep into this, we've actually got some sponsorship to get out of the way. We got to pay some bills. So, guys, Forever Grips has all the gaming accessories that you need, all right? From grips and covers for your controllers, mouse pads for PC games, headphones, and a multitude of other accessories. No one beats the quality and affordability of Forever Grips. So, what we're going to do, we're going to have a link in the description below, or we'll put a link either in the description below if you're watching on YouTube. There will be a link in the description if you're on the podcast circuit, wherever you're listening to the podcast. All you have to do is follow that link and use our promo code BSM15, Victor Sam Mike 15, to receive 15% off of your order. You know what? You were telling me just a few minutes ago that you're going to be using our promo code to do some holiday shopping.
Oh heck yeah, dude! They've got when you say multitude of other accessories, one of the other ones they have the blue light glasses, and actually the exact same glasses that I have, like the same style. They have those as the blue light glasses, and I remember my little
Nice.
brother was talking about how he liked my glasses and he's got to wear glasses or contacts or whatever, and he asked what kind of glasses that I had, and so I showed him the brand that I had. But now that they have those same style and those blue light glasses, plus they've been on sale, they've had a huge sale going on, and we got a promo code. It's like, why not? Let's get some holiday
Yeah,
shopping out of the way.
yeah, 15% on top of the sale. You can't lose. So you know what? I'm gonna give you the link right now, and you can go below and check out the link anyway. Forevergripsgaming.com. Forevergripsgaming.com. Use our promo code VSM15. Hey, I'm all for that. And you know what? While we're paying bills, one little more that I got to throw in there. We're on Patreon, guys. Come on, we're on Patreon. You want to support this show? You want to support Vendetta Sports Media like I know you want to do? Then go to patreon.com/Vendetta Sports Media. J Law, what are our tiers on this again? Because I don't remember. I've got more concussions than I can count.
Our tier is basically first tier, just to, thank you, get your name out there. We much appreciate it. Next tier, big thing, you get to be a recruit in my Vendetta University series that I got going on the YouTube channel. So you'll be a freshman coming in, big man on campus, get 4 full years, unless you're good enough and after three you decide to go pro. Totally up to you. I understand that's my job, is to get you transitioned into the next level. Next one after that, big thing is access to a Discord server that we'll have whenever people start to sign up for that tier. We'll open up a Discord server. We'll all be in there. We can talk sports. We can chit chat other random things that you want to talk about too. You got some life advice that you want to come to us about, more than happy to help you with that, but there are limits, of course. Let me rephrase that. There are limits.
And just keep
And
in
then the
mind, we cannot be held accountable if you take our bad advice and run with it. So if you
exactly.
say, if Doug, my coworker, is giving me a hard time, what should I do? I'm going to tell you hit him in the groin with a football. If you do, it ain't my fault, because that
But
is not good
But if your
advice.
boss hated him also and he gives you a raise after it, absolutely yes, 100%. on us, and we take credit for that because we helped.
Absolutely. And then you should probably upgrade your Patreon status
Yeah,
if you
to
got a
the
raise.
next level.
Mm-hmm.
And then what that level, the top tier, what it does is that eventually after a couple months, you get a free t-shirt. We got some nice t-shirts. I may wear mine. I'm going to wear mine next time. Hold me to it. Next time we have the
All
podcast,
right. Next
I will
show.
wear my Vendetta t-shirt.
Next show.
And then you'll get access to maybe even to be a part of the site in some published articles. Maybe like, we do mock drafts for the NBA and the NFL. Maybe you get a pick. Maybe you can act like a GM. And if you're that diehard of a fan of a team, you can take your team, pick whoever you want, and explain why you want that player on your team. And maybe if you're a big fantasy football guy or a fantasy basketball guy, maybe you get an invitation to our
Or
fantasy
gal.
football or
Or
gal,
gal.
of course. Yes, anybody. This is open to anybody.
Or however you identify.
Exactly.
Male,
Right.
female,
This is
non-binary, however you go.
100% inclusive because we're just here to have a good time.
Exactly. We're gonna have ain't looking for nothing but a good time. That's right. Hey, you love sports. We love sports. You like gaming. We like gaming. You like other stuff. I love other stuff. So go to Patreon, patreon.com/Vendetta Sports Media. Why not? So we got that out of the way. We paid the bills. Let's get to the show. We've got a lot going on, J Law, and not just in the NFL, which we will get to shortly. But today, the NBA is at the top of the bill.
Mm-hmm.
The off season for the NBA is going in full swing because they only have a little over a month before the tip off of the 2021-2022 season. J Law, Chris Paul, he's on the move. He's moving.
I know. I mean, I figured that it was going to happen. I think a lot of people figured it was going to happen. Just didn't know who to. And then the Suns kind of came in there and everyone was like, "Oh, yeah, well maybe." But no, yeah, the Suns swooped in with the Phoenix Suns with an interesting trade offer. So the full trade is Phoenix gets Chris Paul and Abdel Nader or Nadar. I'm terrible with last names, so if you're a listener out there and I butcher a player that you like, if I butcher their last name, I'm terribly sorry.
It's not intentional.
It is not intentional. I'm just terrible with names. And then in return, the Oklahoma City Thunder get Kelly Oubre, Ricky Rubio, Ty Jerome, Jalen LeQuay, again, a hard last name, don't know how to pronounce it, and then a 2022 first round pick. And the acquisition of that pick is like the 17th first round pick that the Thunder have until 2027.
Wow.
They're going to have every first round pick at some point. We're going to get a draft and it's all going to happen. And you're going to see 30 slots up there on the draft board and over half of them are going to be the OKC Thunder.
Now, here's my question. Is that a lot to give for a 35-year-old point guard? To me, that sounds like a lot to give up. Even if their name is Chris Paul, that's a lot to be given up for a guy who's 35 years old.
It is a lot. And the reasoning for the Suns being it, there's a false hope circulating around the Suns fandom, and I would guess also the Suns organization and front office, because they wouldn't try to pull off this trade or pull the trigger on this trade if they didn't think this. But they went 8-0 in the bubble, and I think that is getting to their heads into thinking that they are ready to take the next step. Granted, they are a point guard away from really becoming not a contending team, but a playoff team. But even with adding Chris Paul, at best, you're looking at maybe 7. Like that may be the top 7 or 6 at the very highest, because of all the other teams. You just go down the list. Golden State's going to be healthy. Of course, you still have the 2 LA teams. You have Dallas, Portland. They just added Robert Covington, a nice defensive piece. There's so many other teams that can be put in front of the Suns team that, yeah, it's a lot to give up. It's a gamble, and it also makes me feel like that the rumors of Booker wanting out of Phoenix may be true, because
Well, because he's
This
been
is
the
kind of
only
this is
guy there.
yeah, and this is kind of a desperation, the
Well, see,
desperation move by the Suns.
what gets me on this is that and this is one thing that has turned me off of the NBA for the last few years. I'm going to be honest. I don't like the idea of the super team. If you're going to have a super team, it should be built via the draft and, built during free. I mean, yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, I guess in a lot of ways do it organically. If, all things
I feel
considered,
you.
because the bottom line is, back in the day, man, you had guys like, all right, you look at the Celtics from the early to mid 80s. Yeah, sure. You had Robert Parrish, you had Kevin McHale. Those guys were glue. But that was Larry Bird's team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, granted, the Lakers were a bit different because that was Kareem's team the first 2, 3, 4 years. It didn't start to become Kareem and Magic's team until 85, 86, 87. And it didn't become Magic's team until Kareem was gone. And the Bulls were always Jordan's team. Pippen came in, and then you acquired people. So I guess my whole thing is, and it's a slippery slope for me to be standing on. I get that when I say what I'm about to say.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever happened to the days where people were like, yes, I am the guy. Now get me pieces. All right, fine. We'll leverage our entire future for Chris Paul. That'll keep you, right? No. Chris Paul is 35 years old. He is one lower body injury away from being done. I'm sorry, when you reach 35 years old, and this is for you to realize because you're a little ways away, but your body don't heal like it used to. It just doesn't.
No, and I think Chris Paul's value kind of went up a little bit because he had a good season last season, but then also after that break they came back and they played phenomenally. They probably played above what their
And he
actual level
and he also
is.
had so much time to rest. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. That's what I
and
was
and, that,
implying
and
by
that's the
that.
one thing, and that's the one thing even about LeBron that I tell people is like yeah, LeBron is great for now. He's great at this point, but he's going to start breaking down soon. He is going to start breaking down soon.
Father Time is undefeated.
Yes, he is.
Unless he was to win a championship next year and he plays phenomenally and just calls it quits just because he doesn't want to decline, then perhaps you can say that he beat Father Time during his career. But that's usually not the case. Usually guys keep going until you see a wheel or two fall off.
Until you see an instance where it's Michael Jordan playing for the Wizards and he's still Jordan, but he doesn't have that
It ain't
step anymore.
Jordan.
Yeah, it's not
Jordan, but it ain't
Jordan.
Jordan.
It's Jordan, right? And the thing is, Chris Paul at 35 years old, he has what another, especially at the point guard position, he has what another year, maybe two.
Yeah, and
And the
not
and
only
the
that, but
Suns are. I'm
he's
sorry.
got
Go
a
ahead.
no. You're good. He's getting paid over 40 million, and next year he's got a player option for 44 million dollars. There's no
So
way you're going to convince him to turn that down or to take a buyout of any sort.
he's definitely not.
He's going to accept that. He's
So
not going to
he's
retire with 1 year left. That's going to be a $44 million payday.
so now you're on the hook with this guy unless the Thunder are going to eat some of that cap. $85 million, 35 years old. So this guy's going to play until he's about 38 years old, and then that's about it. And the thing is, yeah, he may not retire, but who the hell are you going to be able to bring in? Like, because the NBA's salary cap is what, about
Is it
138 million?
109 million for base
109.
cap, but then it's like once you get into like the luxury tax, it does get up to like the 20s, 120s,
So
130s.
now, now to be able to compete and get somebody in there to keep your young stud Devin Booker happy, now you've got a luxury tax. Now, granted, your picks are protected. Let me double check from this finely written article by you yourself, Jackson Law. Your picks in 2022 round first pick to 12th pick, that's protected. So what now is it after if you're 13 or lower, you get your pick, or that's that. How does
Let me find it real
pick?
quick.
Because it says here the Suns' future first to the Thunder is a 1-12. One protected 1-12 in 2022.
Yeah.
1-10.
So
How does that
yes.
work?
Yeah. So what that means is that so if it's protected 1 through 12 for 2022, it means that if the Suns play terribly enough and their pick lands between the number 1 pick or if it's the number 12 pick, then the Suns retain that pick. And then
Gotcha.
the next year, like the protection slowly reduces until either it lands outside of the protection or it's an unprotected pick. So a good example of this is my Memphis Grizzlies way back in the day made a trade with the Boston Celtics for Jeff Green of all people. It is one of the
That was a
greatest nightmares
that was a
of
horrible pick.
one of the
But
greatest nightmares
Jeff
ever.
Green was, you want to talk about overinflate, like Jeff Green was, he was so just not loved in Boston.
Exactly. And like the bill came due 2 years ago when it started to become protected. It was lottery protected. We ended up getting the number 4 pick and we picked Jaren Jackson Jr. Or maybe it was or last season it was also lottery protected. It was top 10 protected or top 12 protected. And then it fell. We jumped up to the number 2 spot and picked John Morant. This year it was like top 10 protected and it's the number 14th pick. It's like the last pick of the lottery. And so the Celtics got that pick. We didn't jump up into the top 10. So the Celtics get it. And the Celtics basically get a lottery pick that looks like it could be someone like Cole Anthony, who I definitely think that they should pick on Wednesday, which is tomorrow. Tomorrow's the draft. Oh my God, tomorrow's the draft.
I guess maybe we should have pushed the show back a little bit and done a draft episode, but not too late now.
Nah, it's good. We can have a reactionary to next week because there's going to be so much that happens following the draft. It's going to be ridiculous.
Draft day is so exciting. I love
it.
Draft day.
It is a holiday. If you're in the NFL or the NBA, it is exciting. It is very exciting. But yeah, to go back to your question, yes, a 22 first round protected pick 1-12 means that Suns 1-12.
If they're outside, so if they do well enough that they're 13th pick,
13th or higher,
it goes
to the Thunder for that year, and then the Suns don't have to worry about it anymore.
Gotcha.
So
that's still a lot. That's still so basically that's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, in my opinion. Because now it's like you either start the tank. Now you've got 2 superstars pissed off that you're not winning. And then you've got one guy that you still got to pay 40+ million to. Another guy who now Devin Booker, he's a free agent next year, right? Is he a free agent next year or the year after?
I don't think he's a free agent next year. I don't have his contract in front of me, but I know he signed an extension maybe a few years ago, so he's still got a couple years left, I think.
All right.
And what really sucks is that Chris Paul's obviously going to accept that $44 million option. That's during the big free agent year, where like Giannis, Kawhi, LeBron, PG-13, all of those guys are free agents again. Granted, you may not have like that great of a chance to sign them, but there is a plethora of other second, third tier guys that you could split that money out and really build up your roster. And you've got it all tied up in a 35, 36-year-old aging Chris Paul.
Right. Now I've got his contract in front of me now. It's up until 2024, so he's locked.
Yeah.
And his average salary now, Chris Paul, you're paying him now. His contract is 5 years, $158 million. Actually, $158.25 million. So that means that in this 2021-2022 year, he's making $31.65 million. So that plus Chris Paul's money, that's almost 70. That's $71 million.
And you have $109 million.
Yeah. So who the hell else is you getting? Like,
there's really no one. That's why you had to have the second guy from the Thunder come over, Abdel, also to make it to where Oklahoma City doesn't have that many players on their roster because there's only so many people you can have on the roster at one time, and maybe it helped make the money work. I don't know the super detailed details of the trade or why they would do that. I can only speculate because I'm not a part of either front office.
I seriously think that one. I think it's got to be one part, like you said earlier. They're trying to keep Devin Booker happy. They're probably willing to go into the luxury tax at this point because yeah, you want to keep this guy happy, and I guess Chris Paul is that veteran leadership that you want to bring into that young locker room.
Yeah,
I
and
guess.
as far as I know, Paul and Booker get along pretty well. So
Yeah,
they're and it's just such a horribly run franchise that
yeah.
at this point I think they're just trying to plug holes in a sinking ship, and that I think Booker will eventually force his way out. Normally players do with 2 years or 1 year left on their contract. So I don't think he finishes this contract with the Suns. I think he'll eventually force himself out.
All right, so this is what I'm looking up. Going on to another sports media group. I'm looking at their 2021. All right, so this isn't too bad. I'm looking at their 2021 roster. DeAndre Ayton, um, Baines, Devin Booker.
Yeah,
Um,
Aaron Baines is a free agent. There's a lot of free agents that
gotcha.
they have
So
that
so
I
they
don't
they
think they have their bird rights to. So it's gonna be really difficult.
all right. So DeAndre Hatton. Well, DeAndre Hatton is a solid individual, and he's young. Then you got your Devin Booker, and then you got Chris Paul. So I mean, you've got a quote unquote big three there. But I mean, all the rest of these guys, like, who the hell's
Yeah.
Cameron Payne?
Cameron Payne, he was with the Bulls for a long time. He's just a backup point guard. Mikal Bridges he can be exciting at some points. There's also Javon Carter. I know who they have.
Mhm.
The only reason why I know his name, he's a West Virginia guy. He was drafted by the Grizzlies, and then the Grizzlies traded him before the beginning of last season or this past season.
Frank
So
Kaminsky.
yeah, Frank Kaminsky, he's still in the league. Big Wisconsin
Jesus.
man. Or
My
was it Indiana?
God.
Wisconsin or Indiana?
Wisconsin. It's
Yeah,
Wisconsin.
okay, Wisconsin.
Now,
Yeah.
what's crazy is that I remember that name from forever in a year ago, forever and years ago.
Yeah,
He's
he played for the Hornets for a while, and then he just never panned out.
That's
Just
how I know him from because in my 2K, I think it's 2K20, I
mhm.
think. Um I made him look so bad with my character. Well, of course the character's name is Che.
Yeah.
I made him look so bad because my character ended up being like the center for the Bulls.
Hmm.
I blocked him all day, every day. I think I had a personal record. I had 12 blocks. I had a triple double with
Jeez.
blocks. I had a
God.
triple double with blocks. Okay. And I remember the name. And Kaminsky
Yep.
rejected. It's like, and he needs to stop shooting. He's just hurting his team. But at the end of the day, if this is, if you can bring in a veteran guy, because other than after Chris Paul, the oldest dude on this team is I'm not Frank Kaminsky, Aaron Baines, and he's a free agent.
Hmm.
After him is Frank Kaminsky and Abdel Nader. Or Nadir. I apologize if I said his name wrong.
You got me, man.
So you've got to. So I guess in some senses, you've got to have a veteran leader in that locker room that knows what it takes to win. But Chris Paul knows how to win, but he hasn't gotten the promised land.
Yeah, he knows how to win regular season. When it comes to postseason, not so much.
Now, if you could have made this type of trade, let's say you're the GM of the Phoenix Suns, and the owner says, Jackson Law, get me a point guard that can be the leader of this team. Who are you getting?
Let's see. Point guards that are on the trading block. Well, obviously one that already got traded that I think would have been an interesting fit is Dennis Schroeder. He got traded to the Lakers. He's an upgrade for them over Rondo, which playoff Rondo is a different beast, but Schroeder, all in all, is better.
Now, Dennis
There's
Schroeder, does he play piano in the offseason?
I don't think he does.
Fair enough.
He's from Germany, though. He is from Germany.
Okay, well, fair enough, because I just wanted to make sure he wasn't he would be able to focus on his game instead of hanging out with Charlie Brown and Lucy and Linus and all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those. Yeah, that's pretty good. Thanks for showing your age, Dick.
No, dude, I watch Peanuts too. Like I was so pissed off when all the movies got moved to Apple Plus.
Yeah.
Because I mean, just real quick tangent here. I mean, I love the Charlie Brown Christmas and Thanksgiving specials. Of course, The Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown is an all-time classic. And anytime we carve pumpkins and someone takes the guts out and plop them down, I always yell, "You didn't tell me you were gonna kill it."
Yeah.
25 years old, and I've done that every year I've been alive, pretty much. Okay, but anyway, back.
You don't have to feel bad. I'm 41 years old. If I watch Snoopy come home, I get sad when Charlie Brown is missing Snoopy. Okay,
Oh,
I understand.
heartbreaking. But as for like point guards, I'm trying to think, because they had Rubio, who is a decent leader on the court. He's not a scorer by any means necessary. Never really panned out than what he was.
I remember the hype around him when he was drafted by the Timberwolves, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they were calling him the Spanish Magic Johnson. Because they showed some of the game clips of him like in Spain, and he's doing some of this globetrotter passing like Magic used to do. Yeah. He came here to America. I was like, we're not impressed by that.
It's like all the veteran. There's really there was no other. Because just the package that they gave out is intriguing. Although I don't think Kelly Oubre and Ricky Rubio, I don't think they stay a full season in OKC. I'll be decently surprised. More so, I don't think Rubio will stay than Kelly Oubre, but I think Oubre can fetch a better package, a trade package, for another team than what Rubio can. It's tough. It's tough. I don't know. I think you would just kind of have to try to bide your time until after this season. Not necessarily take this season as an L, but, I wouldn't have bought in as much to, commit for, $40+ million over the next 2 years in each year, not just overall, but like 40 something million this year and 40 something million next year in a player option for an aging Chris Paul, when that is such a good free agency class. And next draft class is an excellent draft class also. Well, so you don't want to this would be a bad year, honestly, for the Suns to make the playoffs. Although they probably do need to make the playoffs so that way they can show Devin Booker, hey, there is improvement around the team.
Right. Because the one thing in the NBA, man, that is the players' league. In the NFL, you face and we saw it with Antonio Brown. You can force your way out, but people may come and get you, but they're not going to keep putting up with you. In the NBA, you can force your way out and be fine and dandy and get yourself into a much better situation. The NBA is definitely a players' league. But Chris Paul isn't the only point guard that moved. We also saw the Bucks making a trade with the New Orleans Pelicans. I cannot get used to saying New Orleans Pelicans. That is so difficult. Like, that just doesn't even feel right. I've never been to New Orleans, but are there Pelicans there?
I guess so. I would have to say so, because that's what they chose.
I mean,
there are other mascots that don't make much sense, because there used to be the New Orleans Jazz, and then they moved to Utah.
Where there's no music allowed. There's no music
exactly. It's so weird.
Like honestly, if I were gonna be a New Orleans franchise, I'd be like, look, guys, can we please be the Jazz? Can we make this work somehow? No? Damn. All right, fine. Pelicans it is. Why don't you just call yourselves like the New Orleans Easy? Or, like big or Crawdad or so, I don't know. who wants to be a bottom feeder, I guess. Anywho, so the Bucks got rid of Eric Bledsoe and George Hill and sent draft compensation to the New Orleans Pelicans.
Draft compensation
for Drew Holiday.
It is 5 total picks.
Woo.
5 total first round picks.
And the thing is, Milwaukee's doing this for the same reason that the Suns are doing it. They're trying to keep Giannis happy. Giannis is a free agent after this year.
This is like a package worthy of Anthony Davis, because that's essentially what Anthony Davis was sent to LA for. It was
And
all these draft picks, all this draft compensation is a 2020 first round pick. It's this coming pick. So the 24th pick in this year's draft goes to the Pelicans. A 2024 first round swap rights, which just basically means that if the Bucks have a worse record than the Pelicans, like if they have a better pick, then the Pelicans, if they so choose, can be like, okay, well, we're going to take that pick and you get this pick back here. That's what a pick swap means. And then they do it again in 2026, and then 2025 and 2027. Those are unprotected picks, which means that it doesn't matter if the Bucks win a championship or if the Bucks land the number 1 seed. That pick goes to New Orleans that year.
and and Trey
Drew Holiday
for Drew Holiday,
second round pick.
Now Drew Holiday is a good player, but he ain't worth all that.
He ain't worth 5 picks. No, he's not even worth 3 picks. 2 picks is really pushing it if you're giving up Bledsoe and George Hill.
If you go to vendettasportsmedia.com, check out the Trey Daubert Trey's article on this. The Pelicans robbed the Bucks. They did more than just rob them. The Pelicans should be thrown in prison for what they did.
It's nuts, dude. When I saw that trade, as the trade compensation, as everything started, all the information started to come out, I just could not believe it. And honestly, maybe that has prolonged a lot of other trades happening because teams that are kind of getting rid of mid, third to second tier guys that, maybe could get a first round pick, maybe squeeze out a little bit extra. They see that, well, New Orleans got Eric Bledsoe, George Hill, and 5 first round picks for Drew Holiday. Give us something better than whatever this crap deal that you got going on. And this happens every year, and it always screws up the market. It's ridiculous. Someone overpays. Ridiculous. Someone's going to pay too much.
Well, there's overpaying. There's overpaying, and then there's just, you know what? Take my house. Like, seriously, like the only, and Trey does a really good job in here. He goes a stat line for Bledsoe and Holiday. The only glaring difference is a almost 5 point per game scoring average difference. Yeah. That's it.
Holiday is an elite defender, so I would obviously pick Drew Holiday over Eric Bledsoe. But if I would have done my darndest to keep George Hill for my backup point guard spot, and there's no effing way that I'm getting rid of 5 first round picks. No. If I would have offered, honestly, if I would have done this, I would have offered straight up Bledsoe and 2 firsts. That's one of them could have been the 24th pick for this year, and then a future lottery protected pick. And that's what I would have offered.
And now your article and I'm citing you now, where you asked, does this make the Bucks contenders? Hell no, it don't make them contenders. It doesn't. Not even close.
No.
If I'm Giannis, I leave. This even more is like, yeah, I'm done. I'm out of here. I am not re-signing with this team. No. Welcome back to mediocrity. I am done. You have shown that you are stupid. You are dumb.
Now I will say this about the front office. I like the trade to get Bogdanovic. I think he's a great shooter. He's a little bit older than what you would expect for being like his experience in the league, but he fits perfectly as being someone where Giannis is the guy that's driving the paint and he can be a spot up shooter. Drew Holiday doesn't make any, like, it's a good pickup, but they gave up so much that there's nothing on their bench. They've got nothing on their bench now.
So now what are you going to do? And you know what? So now what are you going to do? What in the hell are you going to do now? That's just ridiculous.
Exactly. You can't build up through the draft anymore because you've given away all your draft picks.
Yeah.
And that's about the only option. That's the only option Golden State had for a couple of years because all their money was tied up in 4 players. And so it's like, well, now what do we do? And it's like, we just got to try to find guys on vet minimums that are chasing rings, and then we'll draft a guy with the 30th pick in the draft, and he's going to get significant minutes. If anything, he'll just fill out our roster. You can't even do that with them.
No, that's not a gamer move. Not a gamer move. But I'll tell you what is a gamer move, Jackson Law. XP Coffee Company. freshly roasted coffee for gamers. I mean, hey, appreciate our affiliation with these guys now.
Yeah,
You want
I
to
could
get
really use some right now.
yeah, me too. You want some hot, fresh roasted brew that's gonna not only smooth going down, but will keep you awake when you're in your Fortnite session or you're trying to do your mutt in Madden, especially with the updates that they just released. Go with XP Coffee Company. If you're in America, if you're in the US of A,
Yeah,
us.xpcoffee.co. If you're in the UK,
yeah. We'll
www.xpcoffee.co.
definitely post the link like
Yeah,
in YouTube
that,
and everything. We'll
that
post the
that'll be
link there.
posted in the description. Don't worry.
Yeah, and I do have me some beans that are coming in. Hopefully by Thursday. I think I ordered some, so I'll give it a try. I got
Now
the
they
isolation.
now do you actually have now are they actually sending you the beans that you got to ground them yourself?
You can get. I did just because I got a grinder. I got an espresso grinder, but you can. I'm actually on the website right now. So if I go here, you can get like a 12-ounce, 16-ounce, or 2-pound bag, and you've got whole bean, coarse coffee for French press, coffee for that's grounded up to fit better for like drip pour overs, or fine espresso grounded beans.
Drink coffee instead of soda, guys. All right, soda's not good for you. It's just not.
And if you're not a coffee person, they do have hot chocolate also.
Nice. All
So they
right,
sell a little package of hot chocolate.
about to
And
say they ain't selling little bits of Brian Tan, are they? Love it. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, after that and that little throw in, I don't know if they're like, yeah, I don't think we want to be involved with these guys anymore. But yeah, XP Coffee Company. You're a gamer. They make their coffee for you. If you're in the US, USA.xpcoffee.co. If you're over in Europe, in the UK especially, www.xpcoffee.co. All right. So let's transition a little bit now to the NFL. I think those are the two big trades right now
mm-hmm.
that we got. Those were a pretty big deal. Let's foray back into the NFL for a moment, if you don't mind, sir. Unless there's anything else NBA related that you want to hop, skip, and or jump toward.
Nope, just gotta wait more for the draft, and then
I'm sure we'll have
Friday.
more.
I
We'll
think
have a
it is.
lot more to talk
Yeah,
about.
Friday is when free agency starts, as in like people can ink new deals.
So we
that'll
are
be
going to have a ton to talk about with the NBA next week. We probably won't even get into a lot of NFL next week because of the NBA. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. I'm totally all right with that. But we've got a lot of NFL to talk about right now, Jackson Law. The scope of the NFC has changed tremendously with the injury to Drew Brees. For those that don't know, Drew Brees got more breaks in his ribs than I wish I had a better analogy. Who else? Drew Brees got more breaks than P. Diddy has given out over his career. Okay. Drew Brees is broke. Yo, I'm telling you right now, Martin Lawrence's character from Do the Right Thing is looking at Drew Brees like, yo shits is broke. Drew Brees' ribs are Rice Krispies right now. Snap, crackle, and pop. Let me bring up the injury report.
It's rough.
Yeah, it's like
God. It's like 3 cracked ribs on one side and like 3 or 4 on the other side, and a collapsed lung.
But he's saying he'll be back in no time, bruh. Your ribs are celery right now.
Not unless he replaces his pads with like a Kevlar vest underneath his uniform.
He said this today. He'll be back in no time. Now, here's the thing. He's going to be sad. Now, they're saying significant chest injuries. Now, he's trying to keep the air pockets from collapsing in his lungs, what it's saying, because he's got a collapsed lung. All right, here's the report that I want.
That just sounds awful.
It's horrible. It's suffered a collapsed lung and multiple rib fractures. Now, the thing is, this is what makes me mad. I watched the highlights of this game and I saw the play. Like, this is direct from Ed Warder. Results of medical examination performed on Drew Brees revealed he has multiple rib fractures on both sides of his chest and a collapsed lung on the right side. His injury suffered over the last 2 weeks. So he got banged up last week, and then that sack he took from Kentavious Street, just that was it. Now, I am so against the penalty that got called on Street over this.
Mm-hmm.
That was a solid football play.
Yeah. So sometimes you can't help it. Like if someone gets hit hard, even if they're a quarterback and they get hurt, good football play.
That's football.
That's football. Yeah, you should know that when you step out there. That's why they have such great insurance.
To quote Nigel the Leg Gruff, that's playing football, bitch. Seriously, you know what? If that's a penalty, then you know what? Let's get the damn flags. No more tackle. Just flag football for now.
Two-hand touch.
Yeah, and I mean, people have been screaming this for years, but it's true. I understand that you want to protect the names in the league. I get that, but you know what? This is still a contact sport. You are going to get hit. You are going to get hit hard. You have 250 and 300-pound men running 5-second flat 40-yard dashes. You think that, and they're bench pressing 300 and 400 pounds. You think your bones are not going to turn to dust being hit by them? You are. Dude, you have X-Men playing football right now. You're going to get hit. It's going to hurt, and your body is going to suffer for it. That is the risk that every football player takes when they put on the pads. Kentavious Street should not have gotten called for roughing the passer, and I swear to God, if he gets a fine for that, that is bull crap.
I agree with you 100%, and Drew Brees has been a really fun quarterback to watch. I love Drew Brees.
Oh, yeah.
Seems like a really good guy. You know, all of his teammates seem to really love him. Good leader. You know, whenever I watch, you know, the highlights or, you know, the videos of him hyping his team up in the huddle, in the locker room, makes me want to run through a wall, and he's not even directly talking to me. But the best thing for Drew to do right now is to hang up the cleats on his wall, or we're going to be hanging up the cleats on the power lines.
Yeah.
Because that dude is going to be 6 feet under.
Yeah. At this point, Drew Brees, what are you playing? He's playing for, I think, here's the thing. Drew Brees, to me, is the real life Cap Rooney from Any Given Sunday. He is gritty. He is tough. He gets the job done. I'll tell you the truth. And this is not just hate. This is Brian Tan being for real. If you told me that I had to choose between Drew Brees in his prime or Tom Brady in his prime to build my franchise around, I am taking Drew Brees. I am taking Drew Brees. I am taking Drew Brees. Okay? And that's all there is to it. But you know what, bro? If you've got multiple... Now, here's the thing. Have you ever broken a rib?
No.
Have you ever cracked a rib?
I've not cracked a rib.
That don't tickle. You can't breathe. Moving hurts. Everything hurts. If you separate I've separated this shoulder twice, this one once. When your shoulders start to bother you from that, especially in that's why you have the sling and you keep it up to take the pressure off.
Yep.
When you hurt
I have separated the shoulder, so I know how that feels.
When you hurt your knee, you sit your ass down and you elevate, and you alternate between ice and heat. You can't do shit like that with your ribs. You cannot do that kind of stuff. Ribs are there. You have to tape up tight and lay there.
And it's a big old target right there. I know Drew Brees is tinier than other quarterbacks, but that is a big, juicy target that if I'm a 300-pound lineman that's running a 440,
hitting you in the chest.
I'm on the line and I'm licking my chops, just staring at you.
Hungry.
It's like I am going to murder that man.
That's just like in boxing or MMA, any sort of fighting sport. When you go to the body to stop them from being able to breathe. And when you notice that they are winded and they aren't moving as fast, you keep attacking that body. And Drew Brees has small kids. You don't think that they're charging into his chest for hugs? Wait until your kid is big enough. He's going to be throwing his shoulder into your abdomen or lower until he's big enough to basically spear you like his name is Goldberg and you're at WrestleMania. I'm sorry, Starcade. Dude, Drew, in no time, keep your ass at home. And now I get it though, because now this team has Jameis Winston under center now. And Jameis Winston, he's had a couple of weeks to see how Drew Brees operates. Jameis Winston still throwing 50%. One of his missed passes was an ugly missed pass. It was atrocious. But that could also just be him being rusty.
Yeah, I mean he's only thrown 11 attempts this year so far.
Right.
Yeah, he's gonna be rusty.
Right.
You just have to hope for him that he just relies on Thomas and Kamara, which is what Brees has had to rely on the past couple of years.
And Thomas didn't have that good of a game in this one.
No, he was relatively quiet.
Two catches, 27 yards, targeted 7 times. That's very not Michael Thomas. But I mean, it looked like though the passing game was pretty much non-existent. Except for Alvin Kamara, who's 7 catches out of 8 targets for 83 yards, and that was about all he had to offer. And Latavius Murray 9 rushes for 57 yards. So I mean, this was a rough game. This is an ugly game, but this is the type of game that winning teams win. And you got to feel bad for the San Francisco 49ers because that crowded NFC West is starting to look a lot different now. That's starting to look like the division that belongs to the Cardinals, man.
Oh, the Cardinals are playing phenomenal. That catch by D-Hop was
God,
incredible. And that was such a fun game to watch too. I watched a lot of that game. I was switching back and forth between that and my Dolphins playing the Chargers, and man, was that Cardinals and Bills game
some Murray magic. And I'm gonna pat myself on the back because that was a hell of a segue by me. But you're right. I mean, this is a game that I'm catching some of the tickers or whatever as I'm live tweeting the Steeler games, which I do every Sunday as part of Vendetta Sports Media. I live tweet my thoughts during every Steeler game. So if you want to see what I'm talking about during Steeler games, you can follow me on Twitter, at Brian Tan Author. Anyway, this was the type of game that when you grow up wanting to play quarterback, this is the scenario that you run in your head, in your backyard, when you're playing in the streets with your friends. Seconds left, down by a score. Field goal won't cut it. Run as deep as you can. I'll throw it to you. And that's what he did. Kudos to the Buffalo. Now, here's the thing. Madden, the team with Madden posted, the best duo and is D-Hop the best receiver going. Dude, do not sell the Bills short. The Bills were on them.
Oh, the Bills played a great game.
The Bills defense was spot on and good. This was a good game between two dynamite teams. The thing is, if Kyler Murray has anyone other than D-Hop in the end zone, that does not happen. And we're talking a completely different story.
No, these are two great teams. And D-Hop, dude's got hops. I mean, he is arguably the best receiver in the NFL right now. I could see where people could, pick, like DK Metcalf. I wouldn't Julio obviously is up there, but I don't consider him number one. But DeAndre Hopkins, man, has made such a huge difference ever since he came onto this team. And right, it was that specific play was played really well, obviously outside of, letting Hopkins get the catch. but they forced Murray out of the pocket. He had to extend that play on the run, just had to get set really quickly and
How
heave it because he
about
had
that
about
arm
two or
strength?
three. Oh,
He
yeah.
was gonna get hit.
Oh, he was. Yeah, he had about two or three dudes chasing him that if he held onto it for a second longer, he was
It
getting
was,
popped and the game was going to be over.
and that was, you want to talk about arm strength. We talk so much about Kyler Murray's mobility in his legs. What about his arm? My God.
Oh, he's got a great arm.
And he's accurate as hell because that throw was on.
Oh,
It
it was
was,
on the money.
that was a money ball. I mean, 22 of 32, 245, a touchdown and a pick. Kyler Murray, this is, if you're a football fan, you've got to be excited for these young quarterbacks that we have right now.
Oh, it's great. All the quarterbacks under 25 that
Oh,
are like winning
God.
MVPs or, in the MVP conversation. It's basically the next 10, 15 years of the NFL is developing right in front of our eyes. And it's
Absolutely.
going to be great.
It really is. And DeAndre Hopkins, like when I was watching the post game and they were talking to the coach and he brought up D Hop, I was expecting him to thank Bill O'Brien right then and there. And hey, to Bill O'Brien, you the real MVP of this team, dog. This wins for you, Billy.
I know. I
Woo!
think I can't remember if it was on this podcast or another podcast. I said that, or some like I and someone else agreed that if the Cardinals were to ever win a championship, they need to send a ring to Bill O'Brien.
Absolutely. I mean, you and this NFC West belongs to the Cardinals right now. I mean, even with the Rams winning a heart. I mean, that was a rough game to watch
Mm-hmm.
if you're a Russell Wilson fan. And even though the Rams and the Cardinals have similar records, they're both 6-3 right now. Honestly, this is the Cardinals division right here because
Yeah.
I have no trust in Jared Goff.
Nope.
Only guy they really, I mean, you got Aaron Donald, but Aaron Donald can't do it all on his own. So
No, it's I mean, I'm starting to really buy into the Cardinals. Like, I bought into them pretty much after like their second game because I
yeah,
was like, this team is looking really good. And when I'm saying good, I mean like really good. Even when they lost a close one to Seattle, I was like, this team looks phenomenal. Now with this middle part of the season under their belt, everyone is growing up, maturing. They're getting in their stride. They're getting in their groove. The NFC West looks like it could belong to the Arizona Cardinals. And Cliff Kingsbury would obviously have to be in conversation for Coach of the Year if that gets happened. Now, this is assuming that because that Pittsburgh does not go undefeated. If
I
Pittsburgh goes undefeated or if they only lose one game, then Mike Tomlin gets it.
see. Here's my thing, and I'm glad that you made that transition. I I think Cliff Kingsbury definitely has a point to make of being
If
coach of the year.
if he wins the division,
Well,
then that's where
but
his
see,
point is.
well, see, here's my thing, and that's a good segue because we got to talk about my Pittsburgh Steelers. Still the only undefeated team in football. To be undefeated at this juncture of this season, that is huge. That is absolutely huge. And you cannot deny that. I mean, this is the Steelers' best season with statistical season as far as wins and losses since Roethlisberger became starter. And he was the man then. The Steelers went 15-1 then. Their only loss, I think Roethlisberger was essentially undefeated in the regular season that year. That was the year that he took over for Tommy Maddox.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an amazing year. And this team just finds ways to win, even though they start slow. You guys were seeing it. I was live tweeting it. I was not happy with the start. How the hell do you have 3 possessions within the first 5-6 minutes of the game and only walk away with 6 points? It should have been 14-0 already. But the thing is, and Mike Tomlin said this, and I believe him, because they are the undefeated team. They are the big dog in the NFL right now. Every team is bringing everything they've got. So I get it. I absolutely get it. And I'm glad that the Chiefs had the bye this week So the Steelers can at least be talked about as the undefeated team, as the big dog with respect, because I'm so sick. As much as I love Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs would probably be my second team, maybe my third, depending, because I've always loved the Cardinals. I've always been, since Larry Fitzgerald went out to the desert, I've been a huge Cardinals fan. So you can imagine how difficult it was for me to root against them when they were playing the Steelers.
Yeah.
Well, I was also at my ex-brother-in-law's house who hates the Steelers with a passion. So I had to especially keep rooting for my Steelers. But the fact of the matter is that, yeah, the Chiefs are 8-1. Yeah, the Chiefs have all these weapons. But you know what? The Chiefs don't have that defense. And the Steelers have great weapons on offense that in a lot of ways may not be pretty to rival the Chiefs. But if the Chiefs were playing a Pittsburgh defense, they wouldn't look very pretty either. And I'm just gonna leave. And I said what I said. Like, seriously, do you really think that Patrick Mahomes is going to throw any which way he wants with Bud Dupree and TJ Watt and Stephon Tuitt, Tyson Alualu, and Cam Hayward coming at him? He's going to take hits. And with a guy like Patrick Mahomes, who is, from the way I look at him, he's a rhythm passer. If you throw it to get him out of his rhythm, then you start to make him human. And I'm sorry, he may be quick, but he ain't Bud Dupree quick. And I mean, you look at Big Ben's numbers, 27 of 46, 333 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. This guy's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Why this guy is not being mentioned as an MVP candidate? Because we're midway through the season and we have more wins than we did all of last year. Big difference, we have Ben back.
Yeah. Ben's probably not in the MVP conversation just because statistically his numbers aren't the greatest that they've been. And I mean, like I said, yeah, the Pittsburgh for me now, yes, I will go ahead and put them above the Chiefs as the number one team. It's incredibly difficult to be 9-0 in this league, especially we don't really know how less fans in the stands or no fans in the stand. It either negates, it negates home field advantage. So really anybody can take any game. It will be interesting to see because they still have the Ravens, the Bills, and I mean the Colts to an extent. I'm not a believer in the Colts, but the Colts somehow keep finding ways to win. So we'll see how it goes. And then
they lose to one of those three. They lose to one of those three teams, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I am not so misguided that I'm saying that the Steelers are going to go.
That they go undefeated.
They're not going to go undefeated.
But if they were to go 15-1, maybe even 14-2, then yeah, Mike Tomlin will 99% probably get it. Now, I did write an article where I was making a case for my boy Brian Flores, talking about how much that team has grown and about how I thought that he should definitely be in strong consideration for it. And
I don't disagree.
And it's because it's like everybody thought that the Steelers were going to be good, but they're much better than what people were going to be thought. Everyone thought that the Dolphins were going to be terrible. They're sitting at 5-3 right now, and are on people are starting to put them in their top fives. Like national media, like Colin Cowherd is putting in his herd hierarchy. He is mentioning the Dolphins. He's talking about how the Dolphins, even though I have no respect for Colin Cowherd whatsoever.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say.
Yeah, no. I have no respect for him whatsoever. I am just saying that now people in the national media are starting to put the Dolphins.
Well, yeah, they're tied. They're tied for first place in the AFC East. They're absolutely they absolutely should be mentioned up there.
Yeah,
and
but I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I was just saying that it was like if Mike Tomlin and the Steelers continue to have an incredible season, sometimes stories and narratives they can't stop great seasons, and they cannot stop. They're like an unprecedented season that the Steelers are set up to have. And even if the Steelers were to let everybody down and they lost in the first round of the playoffs, Mike Tomlin should still deserve it if they go 15-1. Why? Because it's a regular season award, and he would have been the best coach for the regular season. The only caveat that people are going to put besides the Steelers' name, and I really don't think it should be there again because this is a professional sport and things are different in with the pandemic. But they do have one of the easiest schedules. They never leave the East Coast time zone relatively at all, and even if they do, it's like to I mean, they really don't. You look at their schedule; they never leave the East Coast. And then just the quality of teams that they play. It's Washington, it's the Bengals, it's the Browns, the Eagles, the Texans, the Broncos, the Giants. Easy teams that they should beat up on. But they have really great wins against the Titans and against the Ravens, and then we'll see how they play against the Ravens. And of course, they play the Bills, and then they play the Colts. And I think those are going to be three determining factors. They go 2-1 for those, then they run the rest of the board. They're 15-1. Tomlin's coach of the year.
See, and here's my thing with that. I don't really I don't like the easy schedule argument. I mean, I get it. The more difficult your schedule, people feel like, wow, well, then that makes your record even more valid because blah blah blah. I mean, I can understand where you're coming from, but this is the NFL. Everyone that's playing in the NFL.
Yeah, it's no, I said that it's the NFL. I'm saying that. Yeah. I'm just saying in
general. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying in general. It's difficult to win in the NFL. It's not easy, and when you make it look easy, that just means that you're a good team. I mean, because you look at the win against the Cowboys last week. I was hypercritical, but they pulled it out. It wouldn't surprise me if when they play the Jaguars, that game looks an ugly game. Because once again, yeah, your schedule may seem easy, but if you're the one that everyone is hyping as the favorite because you're undefeated, every team you play against is gonna try to destroy you. Mm-hmm. They are trying to destroy you.
Even the Jaguars, who they play next.
Yeah, and I mean, and
that could be the one that they lose. That could be the one that they lose.
It could be. And the thing is, we've always had issues with the Jaguars since the Jaguars first came into the league, and they were in the AFC Central. We've had issues with them. So we'll see. But I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, this is a solid team. And I'll tell you the truth, man. If the Steelers are able to get past the Ravens and they can get past the Bills, Steelers, I mean, yeah, they could. I mean, the only game that I think that they might lose, let's just say they are 15-0 by the time they go into Week 17 against the Browns. They could lose that game. Mm-hmm. Because at that point, you're resting people. For the Browns, anytime Pittsburgh comes to Cleveland, to them, it's the Super Bowl. Because they don't have anything else.
Yeah. And, like you said, Tomlin's going to have to make a big coaching decision where it's like, am I playing all my starters the whole game so that way we can try to go 16-0 and attempt to have the first perfect season since the 72 Dolphins? And it's like, or do I run the risk of us losing this game, but we've got the number 1 seed locked up and maybe we save Big Ben a couple hits?
See, what I do, honestly, records come and go.
But Super Bowls are forever.
Exactly.
Super Bowls last.
I would actually rest my starters. I would start all my second string guys because it's not worth it.
It don't mean a thing without the ring.
Exactly.
Ask the 73 win Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
Won more games than anyone else. Yeah. Or ask, the New England Patriots.
The 18-1 Patriots.
Yeah. Then they lost the one. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So that's about what we got for you guys this week. Remember, you check us out on vendettasportsmedia.com. Check us out for some amazing articles. Very well written. We are among the best that's doing it right now, hands down. Go check us out on YouTube, Vendetta Sports Media. Like, share, subscribe. Wherever you listen to your podcast, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Tanndemonium Sports Show. Go to Patreon. Help us out. Let us know how much you love us. And, hey, we're definitely going to give back. Go to patreon.com/VendettaSportsMedia.com. You want to go through those tiers one last time there, J Law? Because we have some interesting
Yeah.
stuff on these tiers for you guys, man.
Yeah, and it's like general gist, tier one, uh, nice little quick thank you on our Patreon on the website. Just again, thank you guys. If you just donate the bare minimum, it's not the bare minimum to us. Others may see it as the bare minimum, but it's not to us. We genuinely appreciate it. Next tier, you get to be a recruit in the VU series. As I sign recruits to come to our university, then I'll replace whatever the recruit's name is with your name, and your name will be mentioned a lot. Can't promise that it'll be good because sometimes the character may screw up. Not your fault, but at least you'll get your moment to shine there. Next tier, big thing, you'll get access to our Discord, and then after that is the really big ticket to where you could get invited to basically talk with us. Maybe we hop in like a one-on-one, or not even a one-on-one, but the people that are in there, we like one of us from Vendetta sits in there and we all just kind of chat about sports of whatnot. More personal than what the Discord is, but then of course the other invitations for possibly being a part of fantasy leagues, or part of mock drafts and stuff like that.
So hey, give it a whirl, man. We appreciate every little bit helps. And a special thank you to our sponsors, XP Coffee Company, freshly roasted coffee for gamers. If you're in the US, go to usa.xpcoffee.co. If you're in the UK or Europe, go to www.xpcoffee.co. Freshly roasted coffee for gamers. And finally, Forever Grips. All of your gaming accessories that you want, that you need, they're yours at affordable prices. Forever Grips. You want grips for your analog controllers? Got them. Mouse pads? Got them. You want your controller snazzed out? Got it. You want to snazz out your consoles? Got it. And you know what? The next gen consoles, they've got snazz outs for those as well. No vaping into your Xbox One X, please. But whatever you need, you want to get some of the gamer glasses or whatnot, got them. Go to forevergripsgaming.com and use our promo code for 15% off all purchases. That promo code VSM15, Victor Sam Mike 15. Anything else, J Law?
I think we're good, man. I think we're good.
All right, guys. Hey, we're going to be back next week. Next week is going to be chocked full of NBA goodness. We might not even be able to get to the NFL. There's going to be so much we're going to be talking about with the NBA. We're going to talk more about the trades, the draft, free agency. Oh my God. It's just going to be insane next week with NBA. I've been barely a casual NBA fan for so long. That's about over now. I'm going to be immersed in NBA action. I'm practically Vic Vital, baby. He's Jackson Law. I'm Brian Tan. This is the Tanndemonium Sports Show on Vendetta Sports Media Network. See ya.